Hey, what's going on, everybody? Today is, what is it? Thursday, March 6th,
Unbelievable.
2025. Yesterday was Wednesday, March 5th,
Yeah,
and we
I
did not
remember.
have a show because I messed up my time zones and I was supposed to be the one driving and producing it. So my apologies to the singles and the dozens of people who reached out and asked about the show, but that was my mistake. Today, we're going to talk a little bit about Expo West, which is still going on today in Anaheim, California, along with a new innovation potentially that's going to be introduced at Davos, joined by Corey Connors, host of
Good morning.
the
The Sustainable Packaging Podcast, along with my other host, Brody. Introduce him.
Yeah, and I'm Adam Peak, host of the People of Packaging podcast, and we are going to go now.
I love that.
So, Corey, I just got back from Anaheim yesterday. I was not able to stay for even any of the expo. I got a little behind the scenes tour of when they're setting it up, went to a bunch of networking things. You and I had never been to Expo
Never
West.
talked about it. Yeah.
What a spectacle of a show. I mean, I get why people talk about it as just expo. I mean,
Right.
there are I think they're expecting over 70,000 people this year. There's like 3,200 booths set up. I was just there for the education sessions and some of the networking events. But man, if you're still there, and you should be sleeping well at night, because I got to imagine you're racing around that show like a crazy person.
What a huge opportunity for people in the industry to network and learn about the latest innovations and things going on in the industry.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. So I got to go to a couple of these presentations. One that I thought was really cool was with Dr. Bronner's, who has the soap with the label with all the words on it, if you haven't seen it. They've got a massive booth there at the show. Their head of sustainability did a presentation, and they actually talked about how they use an LCA tool, which is Triac, which is a friend of our show, a sponsor of our show, and how they use that to come to a decision on using a paper-based container in order to do refill on their existing bottles. And how they're really focused on data-based decision making, not only what is maybe the cheapest or what is maybe the most convenient. So I thought that was kind of cool. Also, you'd be happy to know, because I know you've been on the reuse train for a while. They've been experimenting with a refillable solution in retail locations. So you can just bring your bottle in and you can refill your peppermint and then go pay for it. So I thought that was kind of cool.
I really think that's the future of sustainability and packaging is refill. Refill will continue to grow, in my opinion. And Bronner's has done awesome things to innovate and to be, the tip of the sword for new concepts and new ideas. And, I think I commend them for what they've done. And, they're great people. I've had an honor to meet some of them.
Yeah. It was awesome. One thing though, I'll talk about on the refillable or the reusable side that was a bit both cool and disappointing was in the center. So you had the convention center, you had the Marriott and a Hilton, and they had events happening. And in the middle was kind of a courtyard, and they had food trucks, and they were giving away samples. And some of the samples were done in the R cups, which is a reusable cup solution. And so they had bins set up everywhere to drop in your R cup. They also had bins for composting. They had bins for landfill. They had bins for recycling. And I'm at the Natural Products Expo West.
Yeah.
And I would expect that we would have the most, or at least the best shot at people who have a heightened awareness of the collection of these things.
Right. They care. These are the
And
people that should care. Right.
I will tell you, I was deeply disappointed, and it really highlighted the some of the issues that I think we're going to be having within recycling, reusability, sustainability. I mean, I saw people dropping aluminum cans into compost. I saw people dropping flexible packaging into the R cup bins, and it was like, are you just not I mean, they're very clearly marked with signs, and these are the materials you should put in here. And I don't know, Court. Like, what do we do about that? Because
Yeah.
at the end of the day, the system is dependent on the inputs, and if the inputs suck, then the system is going to suck. So
Yeah.
that was actually really disappointing to sit there and watch.
When you have a finite amount of materials that will be going into waste bins, I think if you delineate, if you make a difference on the insert dimension, meaning for the R cup, it should be a circle. This bin is just a big enough circle for this cup.
They did, by the way.
Well,
It's
they
just
did.
people were taking like the film, like a chip bag, and just sticking it in the circle. It's like I get what you're saying.
That's the most they can do, other than like have somebody there with like to block it.
Which you can't do because they have these bins all over the place because they don't want people throwing them in the trash or leaving them on the curbside, right? So,
Right, which is worse, yeah.
which is way worse. I kind of was left like throwing, like, this is why if people are going to complain about EPR, the reason is because I don't know that we're necessarily going to fix the input problem of people, because we just can't figure it out. I mean, I think we're going to have to innovate on the sorting using various image recognition, AI, whatever it might be. And we might have to just fix it there and just have, one bin to rule them all. And everyone just puts their crap in one place, and then it gets sorted out through a bunch of high-tech innovation, because I don't know. Maybe I'm just being pessimistic, but that was the most disappointing. The show was amazing. Kudos to the organizers of the show. I really am excited to go back next year, spend more time there. But that part was a little bit sad.
I think you're right. I think it's going to take technology to fix, and that's unfortunate. People are used to throw it in the bin and it's done, and that's not enough anymore. We need to be a bigger part of the solution.
Yeah, definitely. Speaking of being a bigger part of the solution, let's talk about this article in packagingeurope.com. It says disappearing fiber-based bottle with a natural coating pitched at Davos 2025. So if you're watching, this is what the bottle looks like. And
I don't see it on the screen.
You don't? Oh, it's showing on my screen.
Oh, really?
Yeah, weird. Hey, if you're watching, or if you see this bottle on the screen, can you comment and say, screen me, dog? I don't know. Oh, Chris, thanks for tuning in. Sorry we missed you yesterday.
There it is.
Do you see alternative packaging models, edible packaging, algae-based materials? Yeah, I mean, this would be one that we're talking about. We can get into a few others here in a second. But this bottle, so this bottle, 2025 World Economic Forum in Davos, NBCO presented its disappearing fiber-based bottle intended to be 99% recyclable and biodegradable. I don't understand. What does it mean that it's 99%? Does that mean that what does this mean? Like, I don't understand. It's like
very confusing. It's either recyclable or it isn't. And I think that's the misnomer that keeps being reported. So frustrating.
It says each bottle is said to be 90 to 99% recyclable in existing paper streams. So it could mean potentially that the bottle, if it ends up in the paper recycling stream, is in fact 99% of that will get recycled. That's great news, because it means that
I think that's what they mean, or it's made from 99% recyclable pulp,
right?
Or it can be repulped into 99% of it will turn back into paper pulp.
But then we
Maybe
get things
that's what
down
they
here
mean.
like bio additives. What? No visuals. What Jonathan's saying. Interesting.
Yeah. Uh, yeah,
I
I had
wonder.
a little delay there too, Jonathan. Take another look here.
Okay. Yeah, that's weird. Anyway,
Mm.
I'll pull that off the screen here. And so they kind of, the two things kind of go together, right? Chris's comment about variable packaging. You've got stuff like this that's water and paper don't go well together. And
Right.
so we're left with all these other materials that are variously harmful for the environment. But like I met with the Seaweed Coalition, and they talked about their partnership with Sway and a lot of the stuff that's happening in seaweed production, because I didn't realize they were at Expo West. I didn't realize how fast we can actually grow seaweed, and if we can derive various materials from it, we can get a pretty remarkable solution from
Yeah.
a plant like seaweed. Um, Jonathan says it's a great example of why the solution to waste management cannot be dependent on individual consumer obligation.
Yeah.
Completely and totally agree. So Corey, I know we can wrap it up here. I know you spend a ton of time on new solutions, whether it's paper bottles, and this one doesn't appear to have the sort of plastic bladder on the inside of it like a lot of paper bottles do. This seems to be a fully intact paper bottle, which would be interesting and kind of cool.
Yeah. I'm
Or
excited to see
seaweed
it.
or whatever it is. Is there anything either on an upcoming episode or something that you've seen recently that you're like, man, some really cool
Yeah.
stuff?
I think the newest innovation that I've seen that I'm totally blown away by is called Meadow, and it's an aluminum can, and it's a refill situation where you buy a 6-pack or a single can, and you put it into the refillable dispensing unit that you keep at home. And I think this kind of a system where the consumer has a very easy insert and pull out system where all they have to do is throw the can back into the recycle bin. It's simple and very easy to use. People know what to do with an aluminum can. They know
Yeah.
that that's recyclable.
Yep. Well, speaking of that, maybe tomorrow we can dive a little bit further into that with Pack of
Yeah,
the Week.
yeah.
Or
I got a sample in when I was in Paris.
Oh, sweet. Yeah, that'd be awesome to talk about. So join us tomorrow here on wherever you're watching, LinkedIn, YouTube, MySpace, AOL Instant Messenger, wherever it is that you found us. If you found us on MySpace or AOL Instant Messenger, let us know, because that would be
Maybe
pretty
they're
rad.
on the radio. I don't know.
Yeah, we could be on AM or FM radio. But tomorrow we'll have our Pack of the Week. Sounds like we'll talk about this new innovation that Corey has just teased for us. You tease. And yeah, we will talk to you tomorrow. Let's see if I can keep driving and end this